Hey, Metal Maniacs, this is Darren Chaney of Unprovoked, and you are thrashing up with Dave Softees Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio.
Alrighty, Metal Maniacs, here we go. Please help me welcome to Metal Messiah Radio, hailing from Auburn, California, from Thrash Metalers Unprovoked. Joining us, we have the vocalist, Darren Chaney. Welcome to the Metal Meltdown, bro. Thank you for this opportunity. How are you doing out there tonight?
I'm doing very good, Dave. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. I really enjoy your album there, and I want to know if you could please do me a favor and inform our listeners on who makes up the rest of the band of Unprovoked.
Well, the rest of the band nowadays is followed up by me. We got Loren Scott on bass, Justin Woods on drums, and our 2 guitar players, Devin Mazanares and Cless Limperio.
Thank you very much for that. And can you share with us a little bit about the band's history? Like, when did the band form? I noticed on the Metal Archives, I think it was around, was it 1990 when you started?
Yeah, we started in 1990 in Auburn, California, like you said, and that's just a small town up in the foothills out of Sacramento. Yeah. And we're pretty much out of Sacramento is what we say, but it's a little suburb.
I see. And how did Unprovoked get its name? How did the band's name get selected?
Well, that's kind of funny because back then you had all these death metal bands, and you guys have to have something so violent or evil or anything. How about you just call it Unprovoked? And so we all thought, ooh, unprovoked violence. That sounds perfect. So we went with Unprovoked.
Very nice. And could you tell us a bit about what led the band to its resurgence in 2015? Because I noticed that's when you had like a lapse of time. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe I think around that time was the opening of grunge metal, and a lot of thrash metal bands just weren't doing their thing at that time. And I don't know if that was your story, but if you could share us a little bit of story about what brought you back in 2015 so that we could be here to talk about Out of the Ashes in 2019. Well, now it's 2020, but this is a relatively new release.
That is exactly pretty much what happened. The scene just kind of died out. The grunge did take over. We were teenagers becoming 20-year-olds and started to have to get more responsible, and we actually lost our place to practice, and none of us had great jobs. So that's what actually really killed us in 95.
Wow. Yeah.
And then a couple of us hooked up on MySpace. We hadn't seen each other because we didn't have cell phones or anything back then. So if you moved and lost someone's number, you just never found them again. So hooked up with a couple MySpace days, and then ended up running into Devin at a bar and sat literally 5 feet away from him for about 45 minutes without us realizing who each other were. And then I'm just listening to his conversation. I'm just like, dude, what's your name? And he just pointed at me. He's like, Darren. I was like, yeah. And he's like, so that was kind of a strange situation, sitting next to him so long. But we just kind of all found each other, and that was around 2010, and we actually went and jammed one day in 2010, and it just wasn't good timing for us. So 2015 came, and we said, hey, let's do it again, and everything just seemed to fit.
And by that time, there was no more MySpace, and you had to use Facebook. Otherwise, I'd still be on MySpace, but I don't know what happened with that, but it went, and that was gone.
It did go, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to thank you for sending me your music, the Out of the Ashes release. I noticed your message on Metal Messiah Radio inbox, and I love thrash, and I really appreciate you sending me this music. And I've checked it out, of course. This being the band's debut full offering, and I tell you, it's kick-ass thrash metal, a really killer release. I gotta say, kudos to you. And I want to know how all of your music comes together. If you could tell us about how the melodies come, how the words come, the lyrics, if you do this primarily by yourself, or if the band all has input in this.
In the music, the band pretty much has all the input. Someone will come in and bring a riff, and then we'll just go from there, and each person will chime in. And a lot of times they want me just to make up ad-lib lyrics at the time just to get the flow of the song. And then that's a lot of times where I might get an idea in my head of where to start with the lyrics. But I do all the lyrics, and I don't know, something just pops in my head, and then I just look it up and start checking out and seeing what would be the best words and things to use on the situation. Do a lot of go online and look at Wikipedia a lot.
Yeah, so. I hear you. Yeah, I do that same. And let's learn more about Out of the Ashes. Who produced this, and where was this mixed, mastered, and recorded? What studio did you record this in?
We recorded this at Audio Edge Recordings here in Sacramento with Tom Jimenez, and he did an excellent job. And then we had it shipped down to Juan Ortega from Trident Studio. That's known for some Exodus, Machine Head, Test. He just did the New Testament album, and he mixed it for us. But Tom did the mixing, and Juan Ortega just mastered it for us.
The end result is really a great kick-ass thrash offering.
Thank you, and I appreciate you getting that email and actually listening. A lot of times it just falls on deaf ears.
Oh no, I love thrash. I love all kinds of metal, but I have a soft spot for thrash. Softy, Mr. Softee, right? No, but seriously, I love thrash because it just makes me happy. I love the aggression of thrash, and there's all kinds of metal out there, but there's something about thrash that really moves me, and it makes me very happy. So I was very happy to hear this.
I just turned 50, and the only thing pretty much in my iPod, or at least 98% of it, is thrash.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm a little bit older than you. I like power. I like prog. I like deathy stuff as well. I try to open my mind to a lot of things, but thrash is something that really moves me. I'm 54.
54.
Yeah. And,
well, we're still alive.
That's it. And let's learn more about. This was actually self-released, or were you signed to any label? Or?
We're on Anunnaki Radio or Anunnaki Records, which is just a small label that my buddy's band from the New Plague has put together. He does recordings and studio, and actually the guy does it all. Adam Whitley from the New Plague really helped us out on it. He helped design he put the cover together on the CD I designed, or told him what I wanted, but he made it all pop, and the actual CD itself is a pretty nice product.
Very nice. And so he designed the CD art.
He didn't do like the artwork,
okay,
like the front cover and stuff, but he put it all together, and I gave him the pictures and told him what I wanted with it, but he put the CD all together. It's a digipack. When I was young, there was nothing better than going to a record store and buying a CD or actually a record and pulling out the lyrics and the pictures and stuff. I wish we still had that. And so when we finally got this release, we weren't even thinking about ever having another release. So we wanted to make this, pretty special. But now we're halfway written on a new album.
That's excellent news. So we'll be back here again for your next release.
We are. We're psyched.
Excellent. Very nice. And so tell us, who did the cover art? Because I find it to be very thrashy, in the thrashy colors, the toxic green. It's a really great cover. And could you tell us about the imagery and who created the CD art, and tell us more about that, as well as who designed the band's logo, because that pops up really well.
Well, you caught me off guard on that one. It was actually a lady that our drummer contacted. He went someplace and saw her artwork, and she did the cover for us, and I don't know her name. But the imagery and stuff, we just wanted something that kind of was rising, that was coming up, because we hadn't been together for so long. So it's kind of like a metaphor of coming back and playing. We're out of what used to be the old Unprovoked is the new, so we're kind of out of the ashes. And that was kind of our plan, and she gave us a few different designs. We showed her what we liked, and that was the final product, and we were pretty happy with it. Got a lot of great response on the cover. I'm sure.
And on the Metal Archives, I was looking information way before you sent me the music. I just happened to notice that you had a release out there, Unprovoked Out of the Ashes. And I don't know who's responsible for the Metal Archives, but your CD art on that, for this album, on the Metal Archives, is like half a picture. It's not a full picture, and I don't know if that was a mistake on whoever uploaded it, but I said, oh, that's a pretty interesting cover. Why is it kind of not let's say a square, but hey, it is what it is. But I figured
I'll have to take a look at that. I don't know who put us on there, and they put us on there a long time ago. I remember I was hanging out with a punk band called Verbal Abuse, and we were at this guy's house when they played up in Salt Lake City, and we were looking up, he used to be in Attitude Adjustment, and I showed him the Metal Archives, and they pulled up Attitude Adjustment, and I just said, you know what, pull up Unprovoked. I was just curious if it was there, and it popped up, and I couldn't believe it. So I have no idea who put it on there. I thank them for when they did it.
Yeah.
They have our first and only demos on there, Population Zero, which has 5 of the songs that's on the album.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah.
That recording was from 1992. It sounds quite different.
Yeah, I consider metal my religion, and I consider the Metal Archives my Bible. I've always said that. So I look for that information on all the bands I'm looking to interview and check out as much as I can as far as what I could find out about the band. So when I saw that, I said, that's a very interesting looking cover. So when you see that, you'll know what I'm talking about. But
have you seen the full cover?
Yeah, you sent it to me. You sent it to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's how I noticed that it was a half of an image on the archives.
I'll have to take a look at it.
That's why I had to let you know. Yeah, and I also realized that you are, of course, a live performing band. I noticed you on Norman Skinner's page doing shows with him with Devin, if I'm saying that correctly.
I just found it's Nevane.
Nevane, yeah, I say it wrong all the time.
I kept saying Nevine myself. But,
yeah, Nevane.
Nevane. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know him from Magica, from Hellscream, from Skinner. And through the years, I've had him on the show, I think 4 or 5 times. He's been associated with so many bands, and a lot of bands he's not even part of anymore. But through the years, he keeps himself very busy. But I had noticed Unprovoked on one of the flyers, at least one, maybe more than one. But it stood out to me. It says, I got to check out who that band is. And so just by chance, I think it was maybe the same day I was just had free time, and I was checking out, as I said, Metal Messiah Radio inbox, and there you were. I'm like, oh, this was destined to be. Let's do an interview, and here we are.
Wild.
And here we are. So
what a coincidence.
Yeah, right. Well, things are meant to be, right?
I feel that way sometimes.
Yeah, and so let's talk about your live performances. Have you been out there in support of Out of the Ashes, which is a great title for this album, being that in retrospect, starting that you when you started or formed, let's say in the 90s, and then with your absence, and then coming back with this very strong release, Out of the Ashes. I don't think you could have named your album any better than that, really. But the live performances, I know you've been out there, and I'd like you to share with us, if you can, some of your highlights of your past performances, some of the highlights, some of your favorite moments. And I know you do have some shows coming up in the near future, or not too distant future. If you could spread the word on some shows that you know you have coming up, we'd love to hear it. So I turn the mic over to you. You could talk about your live performances.
All right. Well, back in the old day, we have a few highlights. We actually got to play with one of my favorite bands, Violence, back in their heyday. And we played the very second show Machine Head ever played. And we also got to play with what was going to be an Exodus reunion show. It ended up, they just called it Bonded by Blood with Tom Hunting and Paul Bailoff. And then a couple other guys, Craig from Forbidden and Rob from Machine Head, ended up playing guitars. So it was pretty exciting being young kids getting to open for those bands. And now we've been doing a lot of shows. We don't get to support a lot because we're old and we have to keep our jobs. Yeah, I'm not making the money. So we try to get out and do a show at least once a month. But we have some great shows coming up. We're doing a Battle of the Bands to try to play at Vakken next year and competing with that. And then we'll be heading on a small little tour to probably Boise and the western part of the United States. And then we're really looking forward to joining DRI in October for a show here in Sacramento.
Thank you for that information. Yeah, I noticed you have some shows coming up, and I appreciate you spreading the word with us. Now let's talk about videos. I always am interested in checking out some lyric or music videos for new releases. And I went on YouTube and I looked up Unprovoked, and I didn't see any official videos. Maybe I saw some live performance videos, but are there any plans to make any music or lyrical videos for Out of the Ashes?
We actually have a lyric video being made right now, and hopefully it will probably be done by the end of the week.
Excellent. So if you can, please hit me up, let me know that it's out there, and I will help share it, spread the word on that.
I will do that. I think it's for our song Hate Blog. And then there is a place down south of San Francisco that I really want to make a video for, Face the Fear. It's this cabin in the back of this guy's house that I delivered windows to. Looks almost exactly like the Evil Dead cabin. And I'm like, we got to film here. So we're still trying to do that. Just been super busy.
That sounds excellent. And let me say, one of the most important reasons why we do these interviews and supporting the underground is for basically what you had just said a moment ago or a little while ago about, being in the underground and having a full-time job and this being your passion. there's not the money really in it for you, but we need to spread the word to the fans out there that support this underground metal, especially if they're loving the album. We need to let them know how they can get merch to support the band, either by buying a CD, shirt, or what have you. So we need to spread the word on where would be the best place for a fan of Unprovoked, whether they've been following you for decades and have waited for this long-awaited Out of the Ashes, or if they're listening to this right now and saying, man, this music really kicks ass, I want to get it. Where can we tell the fans to get the CD and what other merch you may have? Would it be your Facebook? It's facebook.com/Sacto Unprovoked, or unprovokedthrash.com, which is your official website. Where would you say would be the best place for a fan to get the merch?
Everything is on unprovokedthrash.com. We got shirts, hoodies, our CD, and will be much more merchandise we're working on right now. Cups, glasses, stickers, everything. But unprovokedthrash.com, you can pick up everything we have right now.
Yeah, I was on that page earlier today. I was pleasantly surprised that you have quite a bit of merch there. I was not expecting that, but I don't like to tell the story. I like the guest to tell the story, so you did, and I appreciate you doing that. And so if you're out there and you're enjoying the music from Out of the Ashes, enjoying this interview, I want you to go to Facebook first of all, to Unprovoked's Facebook. It's Sacto, Sacto, Unprovoked. Let them know what you think of their music. Let them know what you think of their interview.
Click that little like button.
Yeah, definitely like it, and tell them what you think of their music. They want to know, I'm sure. And what do you do when you're not doing the band? You were talking about, being 50 and needing to have your job, of course. That's what we all have to do. So what is your livelihood? How do you support the band? How do you survive out there?
I'm a truck driver, and I'm a very fortunate one that gets to come home every night. But I have a route. It takes me most of the day, long hours and stuff. But been driving trucks since 94. So yeah, just before, I haven't been driving since 94. I've been working out of a truck since 94, about a year before we broke up the first time. And then about 5 years from there, I got my license and become a responsible adult. Like we all have to, right?
Right.
So yeah, I've been doing that, keeping my record clean.
That's good news. Well, I want to thank you for spending time with us tonight on Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio. I do believe we learned a lot more about Unprovoked, being that you're with us tonight. And you gave us great news knowing that there'll be more music from you, that you're not going to stop doing this, because you said this could have been it, right? But you are working on new music. So as I mentioned before, when that is ready and you have it out there, we'd love to have you come back to talk about that album as well. And I'm just curious if there's anything that we have not mentioned that you want to get out there to the people, anything that we have not brought up. I want to be able to make sure that we give you the opportunity to mention anything that you'd like to do or like to say.
Well, for one thing, we have actually gotten a tremendous response from a lot of people out there, and we're very proud of that. I mean, we've heard, like, how people are, a lot of negativity out there, but we've experienced hardly any. And it's been really amazing when people come up to you or not even come up to you, but you see it on YouTube or something. You always got the armchair warriors that like to say something, but everyone has been very complimentive of our album, and we're extremely happy of that. We went into, months before we did it, we thought we just might record a couple songs, and we said, you know what? We may never have this opportunity again. Let's just do a full album. I mean, let's have one so that we can actually say we did an album. And I think that psyched us up even more. And so we've really, since August, Unprovoked has never been known for writing a lot of songs at one time. But since August, we've written 4, and I think there's going to be quite a few more.
That's great news, and I'm looking forward to hearing that when the time is right. And if you have any other, videos coming out or any shows coming out down the road, please remember to, send me a message or tag me, and I'll definitely help spread the word.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you doing this.
That's what we do. And at this time, would you like to say anything to the Unprovoked fans out there that are tuning in?
I just want to say I hope you guys like it. Thank you for listening, and find our album. I really hope you enjoy it. And we appreciate, like I said, we appreciate everything.
I know that the metal maniacs out there will be loving your album. We already have gotten good feedback when we play your music on the air, so I know that's going to be a very positive thing. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time in your busy schedule, because I think you said you get up like 3 in the morning to work, and
Yeah.
and with everything you have to do. I mean, I really thank you for taking the time to do this interview, and I want to wish you and all in Unprovoked a great 2020, and know that you can count on our support for all the years to come. I wish you the best of success. Thank you for doing what you do. Keep doing what you do, and you'll always have a home to talk about your music.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate what you're doing. You know, you're the one that's getting our name out there and sharing it with people, and that's what we need. You know, word of mouth.
I totally understand. Absolutely,
one
yeah.
thing about thrash metal and a lot of metal music, I think more than any other kind of music, the community it just is so much more sharing and loving than a lot of other kind of music. I think it's like really is a family.
I agree. And the thing is about the underground, we all have to help each other. We can't do it alone, because if we do it alone, we're not going to really accomplish that much. But if we have more and more people in the underground supporting each other, more word gets spread, and more results happen. So my hope is for this to be a very good experience for you, and that you enjoy doing these interviews, and hopefully you get more interviews and spread the word more of Unprovoked, and continue doing what you do, because that's what this is all about.
That is, and that's one thing I'm really excited and happy about. This our community, the Bay Area and Sacramento. Back in the old days, there's a lot more competition. Now I'm just seeing everybody support. We share everyone's flyers and just try to get the word out there for everyone. Tried to build it, because it did fall for a long time, especially thrash metal, and it's been back, and we want to keep it back.
This past year, 2019, was a very strong year for thrash, and it seems like every day new albums are coming out, and so there's so much competition out there, but you have a really quality product here. This is just not like, okay, a thrash album. It's a really kick-ass thrash album. So, again,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it too, and all the Metal Maniacs appreciate it too. And how about we go crank up some more Unprovoked now, and crank it up loud. Some music off of Out of the Ashes. Crank it up!